Ryan Webb, the subject is AEW. So I'm sure you got 100 emails about this a day, but I'm going to ask it anyhow. Bit of background about me. I'm a VP of a cannabis company. Calm down, Konnan. I can get you whatever you need so we can meet in Iran. But with that being said, because of my background in the business, I'm confused running on a few things. Obviously, we have no idea what happened in the locker room between the Punks and the Bucks. But from my background, higher up that possibly instigated a situation said diffusing a hostile manner are always in the wrong. Konnan, you've dealt with drama in AAA. How would you deal with this moving forward with what you know now? Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to say first that as soon as he mentioned he was the VP of a cannabis company, I've already been in contact with him about possible sponsorship. So, you know.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah,
good initiative.
Yeah.
God forbid, Konnan should be promoting cannabis. He does every show in Iran. So, what would you done based on what we know now? Vince was telling me how come the Kenny and the Bucks got suspended, but CM Punk hasn't. I'm like, well, because they're EVPs. It's a different. Punk is talent.
Yeah. Plus,
so is A Steel, but the other guys are EVPs. So.
I heard one of the wrinkles, and you hear guys talking about potential lawsuits, this and that. I heard one of the big wrinkles is the fact that Punk got injured in the ring, and then afterwards he's fighting VPs, and it supposedly exacerbated his injury. That could be a big problem. You know what I mean? As far as lawsuits
did you
and
hear,
stuff like that.
Have you heard the rumor that Punk is considering suing for an unsafe work environment?
Yeah, exactly.
That's floating around there. Yeah. So
go ahead. I'm not even sure what the punishment were. Could you bring me up to date with who got punished for what?
Well, it's just suspensions right now.
Yeah, Kenny and the Bucks.
What was it?
Kenny and they didn't list a time frame. They're just suspended. They've been taken off the intro to the show. They've been taken off the road, and they've stopped being advertised for shows through December. So people really aren't sure how long it's for, and it hasn't been officially stated.
And whether or not this is true or not, because this could be the WWE with their predatory skills and interpromotional war. A story got leaked. We don't know where it's come from. It could be from WWE just throwing this out there, and it may not even be true. That Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks have been sending feelers to the WWE,
right?
Which would throw more. Which would do was just throw more gasoline in the fire and create more problems for Tony Khan and that management team there.
Yeah, but isn't their contract?
When they're up.
Oh,
yeah. Well, people are. It's rumored that the Bucks reached out through Cody. See, hey, is there an opportunity there? I heard maybe it was through Kevin Owens, who's their boy. But who knows if any of that's true? Like Disco, you said that, and I didn't consider it. That it could just be WWE trying to fluff things up and cause more trouble. Yeah. But
absolutely,
that's the
100%.
But let me ask you a question. You mentioned the Bucks. I also think was it Nakazawa, Pat Buck, and Chris Daniels something they suspended too or something?
Yeah, they're all agents.
And Cutler.
They're all agents.
Cutler.
Okay. And what they do to Punk and Ace Steel?
That hasn't been reported either. Yeah, I think that they.
Well, you're just not. Well, the thing is like, bro, the EVP guys have to come to work.
Right.
So you just, bro, the other guys, you don't have to suspend anybody. You just don't book them. They're talent. But like the EVPs are like, I don't know. Are they being financially?
If you're asking me, if all those guys got suspended, and I'm assuming they got suspended because maybe they started the fight, but Punk needs to be suspended and Ace Steel needs to be suspended, and I'd throw some fines on top of that too. It was unprofessional all the way through, from the scrum to the backyard to the backstage fight. I understand this had been boiling. I understand you got dissed, and I understand you had to do something. But it's like Cain Velasquez. He had to do something, and he's in jail for it. Yeah. So if you're willing to pay the price, it, you just go for it, because they would have looked like the biggest cucks in the world, like somebody that is on or listens to Get My Go, all right? If nothing would have happened.
Right.
I think
it had to be done. Tony had to gain some modicum of respect, which there
had to be discipline.
There had to be discipline.
Right.
It had to be discipline. No discipline would have been just like, what are you kidding me? How can you not discipline these guys, right?
I think the idea just real quick, D. I think the idea is that the guys like Daniels and Buck that were suspended, even though they may have just been trying to break it up, which hasn't been confirmed, but they suspended anybody involved pending this internal investigation.
Who was trying to just break it up?
I don't know, but it's those two guys are producers, and Daniels was like the head of talent relations. People assume.
Yeah, but you're not going to suspend them for trying to break it up, Joe.
Right.
So something happened.
You think?
And you got to remember,
they took sides or whatever.
Chris Daniels is from Southern California. So are the Young Bucks. Cutler's on a free ride. He's, they bring him on because that's their boy. He had the fight,
Yeah.
or they would have disowned that. Nakazawa had the fight, or they would have disowned that. That's like if Sammy Guevara got into a fight, and what's that J Bron that hangs out with him all the time? Which thank God.
Well, maybe they're all suspended because the way you described it says that they're ganging up on two guys.
Right.
And three of them are executives.
That's 5 guys. Right.
What would happen if you or me or Ray got into a fight in the dressing room? We would all jumped in.
I want to know this. What was the discipline for Goldberg and Jericho?
Fuego del Sol, Konnan.
Fuego del Sol. I don't think there was any discipline.
Discipline for who? For who?
Was there?
For who?
I don't know. When Jericho and Goldberg.
Nothing. They worked together. They worked together. That was it.
All right. Let's get on because I'm sure there's going to be more emails bringing this up. So next is from Jared Smith. The subject is Young Bucks going to WWE. Hey guys, with the reports that the Young Bucks reached out to WWE, would that serve as a positive or negative for both WWE and AEW? On the one hand, WWE's tag team division does need newer faces, and with Triple H in charge, you can put more emphasis on the division by bringing them in. Thanks as always. I don't know if they. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if Triple H would look at the Young Bucks and say they got to go to NXT first because they wrestle they don't wrestle that structured WWE type style. They do a lot of like weird spots that they would never green light. But actually, maybe the agenting system there is more structured than it is in AEW. But I don't know. I don't know if I don't know that they're small. And they do a lot of stuff that you just would not see in a WWE match, know.
So,
but they can work that way though. I've seen them work with good psychology, selling a body part the whole match and stuff and everything. But sometimes they just go off the rails trying to be too creative with these choreographed looking spots where this guy's standing over there and that guy's standing over there, and they just happen to like a ping pong ball. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that stuff, but. If they cut that stuff out, they're still good technical workers,
So do you think they'd send them to NXT or not?
Probably not, but
I don't think they'd agree to that.
Would if they look at their work and think like if they put them on a dark match and they went out and did their stuff instead of saying, okay, we're just going to do a good basic match here because they do have the one thing they do have that a lot of talent does not have in wrestling. They do a lot of charismatic stuff in between the moves. They have a lot of personality. Which is definitely important. WWE, they stop and do the buy stuff and everything. They're kind of like they do a lot of kind of comedy. So I don't want to say comedy spots, but a lot of acting, in the match and everything. So yeah, they would have that down. But some of the spots just look kind of ridiculous that they do, But if they took that out, absolutely they could go there and be successful,
Okay, I think they would go straight to the main roster. It's one of the best tag teams of the last 10 15 years. And number two, you also got to remember these guys were wrestling in very prominent spots in New Japan. So what they do is they adapt. If they put them in a lucha match, they do all that lucha that you don't like. If they put them in a New Japan match, they do New Japan stuff. They have to go in an American match, they can adapt. That's what makes them so great. I think the guy asked the question if it would be good for AEW and WWE. Well, that's a no-brainer. AEW would look bad and WWE look great, and I think they would add a freshness to WWE that is kind of missing in the tag team division, and I think they'd go to the main roster and they would thrive. Yo, what up? This is Konnan, and I host Keeping It 100, my co-host, Disco Inferno, unfortunately.
Well, I'd say you're my co-host.
Listen, every Thursday here on Spreaker, we talk pro wrestling, sports, movies, music, TV, pop culture, and some politics. It's everything the rest of the pro wrestling podcasts are not.
Tune in to hear myself, the superior one, educate and inform.
Tune in to hear me bury Disco.
That's very disrespectful.
Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!